Throughout the investigation, we found multiple samples with what appeared to be blood, so we performed the Kastle-Myers test. This is a presumptive test, so before we send it to DNA, there's no way of fully confirming that it is blood. To do so, we used a positive and negative control, the positive having a confirmed blood sample and the negative only using DI water. We moistened all the swabs with DI water and swabbed them with the stains with what looked like blood. Then we placed 2 to 3 drops of ethanol on each swab, which works to break open the red blood cells to expose hemoglobin protein. And then we placed 2 drops of phenolphthalein, which is an indicator that changes from colorless to pink when oxidized. And then after waiting several seconds, we added 2 to 3 drops of hydrogen peroxide to each swab, which oxidizes the phenolphthalein indicator when in the presence of hemoglobin. We tested 48.10, which was a swab from the garage floor, which came back positive on our Kastle-Myers test. We also tested 48.0.3A, which was a swab of blood from the wire cutters found on the boat. That was also positive for Kastle-Myers. We also ID'd 48.2, which was a cloth from the victim's shirt, which came back positive on our Kastle-Myers test. And then lastly, we ID'd both 48.8 and 48.15 as negative swabs for the Kastle-Myers test.
So what would you say would be the significance of the positive results?
Well, the positive results before we send them to DNA testing at least is able to begin to connect people to the crime. So with the swab of blood from the garage floor, we at least knew that someone had been injured and was bleeding and was in the home at some point. This helps us to eventually identify whether it is the blood from the victim or perhaps a third party who was there at the scene. We also found blood on both Peter's shirt and wire cutters that were present on the boat. And if the blood samples come back positive for Peter's DNA, it would connect him to both the possible murder weapon and the boat, which correlates with Sam's boating trip, which could potentially connect Sam to the crime.